Welcome to the League of Extraordinary Atheists, where we're always keeping it PG right before the show. I'm here with my wonderful, beautiful co-host, Christy Santiago.
Happy day, everyone. Yeah, PG all the way, all the way. The whole show from tip to toe.
From tip
Yes,
to toe. Don't
yes,
ask what's
tip.
to the toe. Okay. So, also in the background, underneath our desks or behind the curtain, we have a Nacho witness. He totally exists. We can feel him. I mean, see him. I mean, hear him. Um, Christy, are you okay?
It's just nacho. It's making me giggle.
Uh,
Oh, oh, okay,
hello,
got it
chat.
together.
So far, we have
Hello.
not. All right. So, yeah, we have so much to talk about. Um, we have topics on top of topics on top of topics. So, we're not doing all of those. We're just going to pick a couple to try to focus on. Because Steve Bannon was right. There's no way we can keep up with all 100 things every day.
No, I can't.
But I have a Baja Blasted. If you're wondering what that is Baja Blast with some Parrot Brave, not sponsored, passion fruit rum. Uh, so make yourself one if you're not already drinking one. Christy, what are you drinking or smoking tonight?
Hmm. Well, this is a cream soda, but it is sugar-free. It's zero, and it has vanilla whiskey. So it tastes like vanilla cream soda. That's dangerous because I don't like alcohol. That's delicious.
That sounds
Mm,
good. That
it
sounds
is
great.
so,
Uh,
and then the other. That was all wrong.
the other. Okay, cool. Um, uh,
We do have topics for you guys tonight, though. Two, two big ones, and we're gonna dedicate time to those two.
we
So,
are. If you don't mind, though, Christy, I would like to read the last Facebook post that I posted. I'm not sure if you saw it yet or not, but I want to share it with you. And
okay.
it's only kind of related. Okay, so not to remind us if we're not off of it in like 5 minutes, but I did want to read what I put on Facebook on the show because I thought it was important, and we can't pretend that ICE has no effect on the economy.
Right.
They're literally kidnapping workers and children and people off the streets. They're part of the economy. And also, the rest of the world sees this bullshit, and
Mm,
they probably don't want to do business with a Gestapo or a or a government that will take people right off the streets. So here, um, I've been trying to find the right words before posting because we're dealing uh, with with a I should have proofread it with a federal agencies here. Um, Seeing the actions of the Trump regime through ICE while completely disregarding due process that is ensured by our Constitution, ICE is no longer a viable federal agency. With disregarding the other branches of government by ignoring court orders and shipping migrants and citizens out of the country before they get the chance to defend themselves in court, they just can't be considered a real part of the federal government. Why? Because the government has checks and balances. Uh, and the Trump regime has gone rogue. And ICE is a Gestapo. Um, they have they have to be stopped by any legal means necessary. They are outside their jurisdiction. Judges have the power to deputize people to carry out their orders. That includes to arrest people that they have a warrant out for when the U.S. Marshals will not. It's time for the courts to grow a spine and use their power, especially since the FBI just arrested a judge last week. If you think this will cause a constitutional crisis, you are behind. We are already in one. Push your local judges and sheriffs, mayors too, to stop ICE in your area. That's my little call out for the day. Um, I didn't want to not talk about ICE at all in the show. And I don't want to not talk about Gaza at all because it's a shit show there. Um, and I want to get your thoughts before I build onto that.
Valid points. I also agree. I mean, ICE is not, it's fairly new in the history of the United States, and I don't think that it's constitutional. I don't think it's ever been constitutional, so you don't have to twist my arm.
Right. I don't know what to do about it. Right. I think even like protesting in front of like a holding center could be
Yeah.
pretty dangerous right now. But it needs done.
All the more reason it should be done.
Yeah. And I think precautions should be taken. Like, I mean, at this point, to me, logically, it seems set that like if we're protesting them, we should also be like ready to make citizens arrests of the ICE agents. But I don't know what we would do with them. You know what I mean? Like we need to organize as communities with our judges and sheriffs to be like, yeah, we will hold ICE agents because they're outside their jurisdiction. They need to be arrested. They're a rogue agency with like under a rogue president. Again, this would cause a constitutional crisis, but what the fuck else do we do right now?
In one,
Hmm?
right? We're
Yeah,
already in one.
we're already in
Yeah,
one.
yeah. The good. I mean, yeah. Also, I mean, if there May Day is coming up and there are going to be mass protests. There's also a website, mayday.org, and everything that's going to be happening, all the organizing, you can get involved. It's free for membership. You can go as a spectator, you can go as an organizer, you can go as security. They need everyone, everyone. And if you have great ideas like a detention center protest, they want to hear them. They want to help organize them. So little that might help.
You
Yeah.
said it's mayday.org
I might have that wrong.
because I have this site is under construction and coming soon.
Oh, yeah, I'll have to pull it up and give it to you.
Okay.
I don't know. I have to think about where it was today during research. Um, I want to say YouTube. I want to say More Perfect Union, but I could be wrong. It could be the I've Had It podcast. Like it could be like a handful of them, honestly.
International Workers' Day, May Day, May 1st, May
Yeah,
Day,
Mayday, Mayday.
Botanica, May Day, MaydayStrong.org.
Mayday Strong. There we go. Yes, yes.
Found
And the
it, people.
Mayday coming soon. That's because that's going to be more organizing.
Say that again.
The mayday.org, the one that says it's under construction and coming soon, that is going to be more organizing.
Cool. Awesome. So yeah, once you go to Mayday strong.org, Mayday 2025, Trump and his billionaire profiteers are trying to create a race to the bottom on wages, on benefits, on dignity itself. This Mayday, we are fighting back. We are demanding a country that puts our families over their fortunes, public schools over private, healthcare over hedge funds, prosperity over free market politics. Yeah, so this is great. We have a handful of things that we could be trying to organize with. But everyone should be doing something, especially if you're part of the group. And if you are doing something, let us know on our Facebook page and our Discord. Yeah, so there's that. So moving back to my little Facebook post and Gaza, um, the world is watching us, right? It's obvious because they have to. They have to watch us. We are the world reserve currency for now. We have the strongest military on the planet for now. Uh, we are big balls in charge. Um,
Mm,
on like in the UN and the Security Council. Um,
mm.
it's is coming to a head. Yeah, Christy. Christy, is your turn.
The UN, the criminal case is now happening in The Hague, and I am glued to it every single day. And only the United States and Hungary are showing up on behalf of Israel. That's so fucking embarrassing. By the way, you just said the UN, and I was like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I forgot that. I mean, that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, it's insane. And I just wanted to put first and foremost because these are not our topics tonight.
Oh.
Play into it. Um, topics. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Um. Uh, um. So before I get into the other factors, I do want to say that we see the rise and fall of empires throughout history.
Mm.
Right? This is nothing new to us. If you're here, I assume you're fairly well educated and you like to support really small channels. So thank you. Uh, but when empires reach too far, themselves thin. And while they're spreading themselves thin, they do shitty things like what we are doing to Gaza. Because, I mean, yeah, it's Israel, but what is Israel if it's not a branch of the US? Um, what we're doing to Sudan, Syria, and wherever else we're fucking around, and what we're doing to China, right? Like, I mean, what we do to China is just fuck with another large, like, economy, trying to like kneecap them every chance we get. It's not a
Well,
good
I
way with
today
friends.
I read about the Chinese economy, thinking about talking about world economy. They are actually putting out policy to protect the Chinese citizens. They have a patriotic bill that they just passed so that you get subsidized as a citizen to buy goods that you would have normally got other places if there's tariffs. If you get it Chinese, it's subsidized. So to help people make this transition so it doesn't hurt them more, and a couple other things, but that's the main one that I thought our country would never do that.
Right. That's just the kind of policy you need to pair with tariffs. That's what you do as a country if you want to make them work. If we did that in this country, Trump's tariffs could be good. I mean, his are pretty fucking extreme. It would take a lot to make a 25% tariff on a country in general be
Targeted,
good. Yeah,
targeted home infrastructure. You start building that infrastructure on manufacturing factories and all that, and then you wage the trade war.
then you
But
wage it. Yeah, but
am
it
I?
doesn't be a trade war. So um, Trump is doing the same thing with these countries that he does with companies. And to most capitalists and fucking billionaires in general, um, they treat economies like they're just any other part of the market. I'm seeing this um, play out a lot recently. So Trump is an old time mob boss, right? Nice shop you got here. It'd be a shame to happen to it, right? Nice business you got there, Bezos. Oh, and news oil. organization. It'd be a shame if anything happened.
Mm.
Um, and he gets donations and they get pay to play. And that is his goal on tariffs, right? I think what he wants, this is my theory, right? And I think we see some evidence for it. It isn't all of it, right? But here's a slice of the whole pie. Is it seems like he just wants to drop all of these tariffs in all of the countries, have them all come in and talk to Trump. And what do you need to do to get a meeting with Trump? Usually pay 5 million fucking dollars, right? Does he want that from other country? I don't know. Maybe he does, or maybe he just wants something else useful to him personally, or his inner circle personally. He wants to just be the trade king.
Mm.
That can
Yeah.
You could be trading for information and media. You could be trading for um, just traffic for your business or shouting
Mm.
or standing next to the fucking president. You could be trading for trade as a country. He just wants to be the man who is the middleman, the mafia middleman, the one that we're always like talking about with like healthcare in this goddamn country. He wants to be the actual middleman for all of this shit. So he gets a cut. That's that's how it looks like he's playing it. But that's not how trade works anymore because we don't have true empires that just fragrantly like act like empires, right? We try to mask it at the very least because we are an effective empire, but we are still spreading ourselves. So this is why I'm talking about it. Is because everyone's fucking sick of it and they've been sick of it for time. Everyone has in other countries that don't just listen to fucking Fox News and CNN and MSNBC, where those specific that I named take a lot of money from weapons manufacturers. So the mainstream media that the so-called left in our country and the so-called right all watch, like the moderates and over to the right, they don't understand how we're spreading ourselves thin and how we're fucking everyone over all of the goddamn time. But everyone else is in that same little bubble or in the same little gas cloud, and they are sick of how we act, and we're making it economically untenable to
Yeah.
play tradesies with.
Mhm.
So
And the only people who lose are the American people. It's
because
we're put up
they're not pairing any
right.
economic policy with the tariffs.
Look, Europe now and China are in talks to have completely free trade between the two, like no tariff, completely free trade,
You
and
said
we're gonna get
who in
all of
China?
it.
Who in China?
Europe,
Europe and China.
Europe,
That's a pretty good. I would say
right?
it's kind of got the art of the deal right now, right? I
Mm.
mean, look at Jeff Bezos. I was talking about him earlier today. How did he make his fortune? How did he make Amazon so big? Um, Without going into a deep dive of it, I think didn't he go bankrupt like 3 times or something like that first?
Yeah, I know. I remember reading three, but I think I read more.
Okay. Well, I know like Elon went like bankrupt like I think like more times, right? Trump went bankrupt like 6 or 7 times. But Bezos went bankrupt a few times, trying a few different businesses or business models and fucking biffing it. But then when he started to like kind of hit it big with Amazon, he did this cool little trick where he sold things at a loss because he had enough capital to do that. Christy, what is what is the short-term pain care gain um great thing about selling things at a loss?
Mm.
You
I
steal
mean,
the
it
money.
depends who the buyer is, I guess, who the seller and who the buyer is.
Yeah, but in this case for Amazon, it was he literally wanted to knock like companies like Sears off the map.
Yeah,
JC Penney's. Most of them are fucking gone now, right?
that's true.
You literally kill your competitors because they can't compete with your prices, and I just have so much money I can sell at a loss until my competitors are not competitors anymore. And now he has the market on so many goods that it's almost a monopoly. It's monopolistic, right?
Not
Well,
that he's at court and was at court for monopoly. Like that's why he's being investigated. One of the reasons he's being investigated.
he doesn't have a true monopoly because he has so much of them that
Yeah,
it's weird, right? We don't define monopoly in a great way legally sometimes, and it gives
I
um
agree.
people too much leeway. So what I'm getting at is you compare what Bezos did to Sears, and now you look at what China could do to the US. We don't need any tariffs or anything. We could just have free trade. We could just be friends until
Mhm.
our competitors are alone in the sandbox, the old with the same old fucking dirt. Um, so I think that if we look at it in this way of like, look at how we act on the world stage, look at how we act here at home, like how our government acts, and look at how just the man in charge does this on tariffs and then this on tariffs and does insider trading. There's no confidence. There's no confidence in the dollar, to say the least, because everyone's fucking fleeing from it because they see how our leaders act. And also, I'm sorry, people, but look at how we're responding to it. Most of us are just like, just hang on tight. There's no like revolution coming. There's not like it like there is organizing going on and there are good things happening, but to the rest of the world, they're like, when are they gonna rise up? Like, when are they gonna fucking do something? We can't bail them out. You know, you're the fucking US, right? You want to just swoop in and like fight the fucking Pentagon? Because that ain't happening. Like, that's not even talked about because that ain't ever fucking happening. Um, we're in a bad spot. I can't remember what movie that is. Oh, we're in a tight spot. But it's oh brother. Oh boys, we're in a tight spot. But we really are in a tight spot. So here, S&P 500. There were two major drops, like one on April 8th, one on April 22nd, where it dropped like uh, um at least 300 points. What was it like? Just the stock market in general just crashed 1,000 points 4 times in the last month, and it's only ever done that 11 times in history. Um, we move over here. Um, cars in the U.S. Trump just signed something to help our auto manufacturers um, to try to like offset the 25% tariffs on like all vehicles that are foreign made. Um, but I think it's still like 3.5%. And Trump says, "Oh, I'm just trying to help these auto workers." when at first he was fucking him over. Um, you move over. There's toys. Where was my tab on toys? Can't find my tab on toys. Well, I see the one for Walmart and Target. So, the CEOs of Target and Walmart recently met with the president, and I think the CEO of Home Depot was also there. And they tried to warn him, like, "Hey, our shelves are going to be empty, maybe in as little as like 2 weeks." And part of that is because of the ports that bring all these goods in. Well, one, they could like run out of stuff, but then when things come back in after he caves on the tariffs even more, then there's gonna be overflow at the ports. And if we're laying people off at the ports because nothing's coming in, oops, right? It could just get like it's just you guys remember that old problem that we had so long ago, like just a couple months ago. There was this thing called global warming, and we were really worried about global warming, maybe having this like runaway effect when it gets so fucking bad. That's about what's going to happen to our economy is like it's going to get kind of bad and then it's going to get real fucking bad because everything's going to catch up with us. Um, this will happen with toys, this will happen with cars. I can't remember what the thing was on toys, and I have too many tabs. Okay. Trump on possible shortage. His quote was, "Maybe the children will have two dolls instead of 30, and maybe those two dolls will cost a little more." Cool. Like, thank you, sir, for your wisdom and your fine actions. Um, uh, so in what Nacho was talking to us about as well, is when GTA 6 comes out. That's going to be a shit show too. Like if everyone's just spending money on a video game during a recession, and if people take time off to play games or something like that, right? It could cause a spark. But honestly, are we going to be able to afford anything for Christmas? Like this economy, we have trained our people over here to spend money on the holidays. And they're not going to be able to, but they're going to anyways. This is the problem because we also just had reports come out that there's a record number of people taking out payday loans for their goddamn groceries and defaulting on those loans. Um, because people will do what they have to do and people will do what they've been taught to do. We're a consumer economy. And I hate to say this. I really do, even though like I've mentioned The Watchmen multiple times, and there's just a little bit of that comedian in me. It's like I gotta laugh, like or that, like kind of. If you're asking to be that dumb, you could be that dumb. The like we kind of fucking deserve it, right? Like how we work, like work on a world stage, and how our version of capitalism and consumerism just really fucks how we see the world and how we interact with the market. It's pretty fucked. And I hope we learn something from it um, instead of just fucking suffer through it. But it's not looking good, y'all. Um, the US dollar is losing um, its power. Um, and the socialist in me is like, good. Right? It's good. But also like for everyone I know and like care about, and also myself, that's not good, right? It's we need to come to the realization that um things are going to get more expensive, and things are already too expensive for people in
Mhm.
the middle class and lower, because the middle class is already like effectively a lower middle class. Um, yeah. So I don't know. Do you have thoughts, things to build on?
The thing I really wanted to add to your economy conversation is two things. Professor Richard Wolff. If you don't follow him, you really should. You're missing out. He is a he's a global treasure. We'll say that. He is
You know,
a communicator and educator. And then, oh crap, what was the other thing? Oh no, it's so important for the economy. Oh, soul brain fart.
are
I'm
you
sure
looking?
I'll think of it.
Are you thinking of like Ben Norton?
No, no, it wasn't a person. It was an actual thing that's happening.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I'll think of it. I don't know why. It was the first thing I was gonna think of, and then I thought, oh yeah, don't forget to mention Richard Wolff, and then my brain farted. So
Yeah.
brain
He,
farted.
you should follow him if you're not already.
And his YouTube, his Substack, he's wonderful, absolutely wonderful, and he has been saying all of this was going to happen, and here we are, just as Bernie Sanders has been saying this is going to happen. So yeah, this is happening. Oh, good stuff, good stuff. Oh, hopefully I'll think of that other one because it was pretty big on the economy. I just
Yes. Well, I have a for you here at the close of this part of the topic. Nacho, we're going to change topics soon. Um,
well, yes, we are. And in the comments, Jen, how stupid can you be is a question, not a bloody challenge.
finish it. Well said.
Right.
Hey,
Well, well said. Good God. Right? Let's see. And
so
then
I was talking to a friend the other day, and I realized I hadn't shared this thought. So I shared it with her. I was like, oh, I haven't thought of that either. Um, with everything going on right now, with the economics of our situation, and also just the crazy fascism of our situation. We've seen that there's a recession or depression coming. We've seen that maybe there's a revolution coming, right? We've seen that Hitler-like shit starts happening. But I don't, I'm not convinced that it's going to play out like it always has in history. And it's because one thing that we've never had in history before that I think is really a game changer, and I've heard no one else talk about it. Do you know what I'm getting at, Christy? Okay.
mm-mm.
I think it's much different this time around. Yes, Nacha, you got it. It's the internet. We have
Mm.
the internet. It is much different. We are so much more organized than we've ever been. Christy and I talk a few times a month now, and we've met a couple times, but also like we didn't meet in person. We've never met Nacha in person. We've never met our whole atheist community that we have, and the socialist and like left community that we're a part of, right? We are like to have this many leftists watch the same circuit of channels and communicate with each other,
Yeah.
talk about May Day and talk about
Right.
Professor Richard Wolff. And
Right.
when like a handful of us or so many of us to buy his book or afford the time to sit down and fucking read it, but we still get the
Good, then you don't have, his book is excellent. However, if you want to do things and get things done and you can't sit and read that book, it's on YouTube for free. So,
yeah,
yes,
we have that.
audio.
Yeah, we have the internet. We are more organized than ever. And this is wonderful. Um, what that means for how this is all going to play out, I don't know yet. But I feel like there's not enough of us um, here in our community talking about how this is a game changer. Because I really think it is a lot. We don't have to go somewhere, like, we don't have to go to a protest to plan the next event. We can plan a whole bunch of events and we can go where we can get to. Um, so yeah, I'm not exactly sure where to go from here, but I think that needs said. So stay online and be really, really, really weary and worried if you hear or suspect the Trump regime trying to take away social medias or the internet in general from the public, because they could say that's a national security threat if we're threatening to organize against or impeach him or whatever we got to do. I think that should be our probably like our biggest worry right now, um, because the internet is how we organize.
TikTok was supposed to be banned, but I feel, I don't have any proof of this, but I'm not the only person that has an informed opinion that it was all kind of like a setup to look like someone made sure that it didn't happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Was it God?
obviously.
It's like God. Okay. All right. That's all I have there. We should move on to our next topic. We've been too long on mine. I apologize.
I have got you Trump's second first 100 days dot dot
What?
dot of
No.
crimes. No, I had to. So this story is important. This first page is a quote from Senator Chris Murphy, and it's so important that I wrote it down. This story is important. We are watching the theft of taxpayer American money by the decision of the Republican Party at large to just look the other way as Donald Trump essentially monetizes at scale the White House and the powers given to him by our Constitution. And if we don't tell this story of corruption, and if we don't mount a national, bipartisan, apolitical resistance to this thievery, to this fascism, to this blatant corruption, and it becomes normalized as just a part of doing business in America and a normal facet of whoever the current residents in the White House are, then shame on us, because our democracy is not going to survive. So that's what I wanted to start the story with, because I thought, yeah, I can't say that better.
Yeah, that's fair.
100 days, dot, 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 of crimes. On January 6th, before Trump is even sworn in, Amazon, which has a ton of business before the upcoming Trump White House, pays $40 million to the Trump family to license a documentary series about Melania Trump. Just a cash payment from a corporation that has huge interest before the incoming White House. January 17th, a few days before Trump is sworn in, we have maybe the most corrupt act in the history of the White House: Trump's creation of the Trump meme coin. It is a backdoor way for anyone, and I mean anyone, to pay or send him millions and in total secret. Trump doesn't disclose who buys his coin. He launders his money from this coin through unregulated Chinese exchange. And you can look it up. So I don't need to get into that. That's what happens. He promotes this coin on his owned social media platform and social feeds. In the very first minute of the trading of this meme coin, one buyer, a Chinese individual, purchased 6 million coins, sending the price through the roof and immediately making a ton of money for Trump, who does make money off of every single transaction this coin had. So Trump knows who this person is, though, by the way. The American people do not and probably won't. January 20th, he's sworn in and fulfills a campaign promise to the oil and gas moguls. These corporations, who came down to Mar-a-Lago to pay Trump $1 billion with a B in campaign contributions. But
That's it.
I know, it's insane.
That's these guys. I mean, to most people, it's a lot of money, but
it's a lot of money. It's insane. It's pay to play. I mean, by any definition of what I described is pay to play. It's corrupt and it's illegal. The day he's sworn in, Trump issues an executive order gutting the environmental rules so the oil and gas corporations that just gave him $1 billion can start making even bigger amounts of billions and hundreds of billions. On January 25th, Trump eliminates the inspectors general, the ethics in our federal government, and the whistleblower's office. Like, that's who just done, eliminated overnight and in the middle of the night purge. So nothing shady there. On this same day, he fired 17 inspectors general, clearing the way for Trump to engage in even more corruption. We know because that is exactly what inspectors general do. They seek out corruption in these very government institutions. Now, by January 25th, they are all gone out of the way. On that same day, Trump fires the head of the Office of Special Counsel. This specific office is an investigative and prosecutorial. They can do both. What the Supreme Court can't do, they can prosecute. This office works to end political corruption and protects government employees who become whistleblowers. Do you understand what's going on? This office is completely gone now, along with all of the whistleblowers. 2 days later, on the 27th, Trump illegally fires the NLRB member Owen Wilcox. This essentially shuts down the NLRB. The NLRB are the guys that are investigating the billionaires standing behind Trump on Inauguration Day. People like Zuckerberg and Bezos and Musk, who are and were, I guess, being investigated by the NLRB for massive workplace violations. So the NLRB being shut down is a huge gift to these robber barons that funded Trump's campaign. January 21st, a trend begins. Enforcement actions are paused against Trump loyalists like Andy Ogles of Tennessee, who is being investigated for illegal loans made to his 2022 campaign. But right after Ogle introduced a bill to amend our Constitution to allow Trump to serve another term, Trump makes the investigation disappear. At the same time, another one of Trump's friends, his IRS nominee, Billy Long, gets his donors, whom nearly all of them have direct interest before the IRS, to pay off his six-figure campaign debt, which would be fabulously corrupt, but is it normal now? Like, that wouldn't fly any other time in this country. February 4th, Week 2. We're only at week 2. Trump hauls the PGA and Saudi government's LIV Golf into broker an agreement between the two rival golf institutions. Trump can make so much ill-gotten gains from this. He's in business with one of these elites, and it's the Saudi Arabia, of course, LIV Golf. In a normal world, the president of the United States of America would not be in business with any foreign government, but this president just happens. February 6th, Trump ends the criminal enforcement of the Foreign Agents Registration Act. This act requires people who are being paid by foreign governments to register. Now it's no longer enforced, so that Trump and his lackeys can get backdoor payments from foreign governments, and nobody is going to do anything about it. There were people who were arrested in Trump's first term for exactly this crime. He's making sure that this won't be a problem this time by doing that. February 10th, Trump eliminates the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which was such a gift to Trump's billionaire donors and enablers. This Consumer Financial Protection Bureau stopped big businesses like banks and Amazon, etc., from ripping off American citizens and consumers. Yes, Matt.
This is Elizabeth Warren's just like her plaything, just to, like pick on normal people and debank them, right?
Yeah, totally that.
She was in charge of it, right?
And
Like,
for what it costs, like I think it was $200 million to run.
yeah, for
Right.
every they gave back 7 to the consumer. Was that the right one?
Right. Being over like $20 billion back to the consumers in its first, like, come on. If people say, hey, this bank ripped me off, I can't get my money, they went to this bureau. This bureau made sure they got their money. It's gone. There's no protections. Fraud's legal right now.
It sounds like they just bully banks and like credit card companies.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Like
Ugh,
like they didn't like bully the consumers really like that. It's
yeah.
weird. It's weird. I
No.
don't know. I'm gonna have to ask my buddy Joe Rogan about that again. Friend of the show.
Friend of the show, my ass. Literally, he can be my ass's friend. That's it. He can't be the friend of the show. I have gas a lot. So I just really don't like him. So I used to, so that's sad. All right, on that same day that he got rid of the Financial Protection Bureau, charges are dropped against Eric Adams in New York, a brazen quid pro quo. The doors are open to commit and engage in corruption for criminality as long as you support Trump unconditionally. They announced their pro quo on live TV for everyone to go, you're saying you're going to support him and his immigration if he drops. That is not legal. Brazen. On that same day, Trump's DOJ pauses enforcement of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. This is the law that stops American corporations from bribing foreign governments in order to get business deals. In better words, Trump suspends enforcement of arbitrary statute, paving the way for his friends in corporate America to start bribing again. February 12th, State Department says that they'll dramatically upscale the amount of taxpayer money that they're going to spend to Tesla. On that same day, Elon Musk infiltrates the Department of Labor and OSHA, giving himself exclusive secret access to labor law violation data against himself and his competitors. Unethical, corrupt, gross mishandling of such access to any information if I ever heard it. February 15th and 16th, Musk fires regulators at the FDA that are reviewing one of his medical products, Neuralink, putting a chip in your brain bullshit, making it as clear as Musk can, do right by me or you get fired too. February 19th, Trump's newest attorney for Washington, D.C., Ed Martin, starts using his government power to harass Trump's critics, stating, "Don't get in the way of Doge, not commit crimes. No, don't get in the way." Calling his new operation, quote, Operation Whirlwind, and he trolls Doge critics online. This is what this high-level person is doing during the day, while threatening criminal enforcement to people who get in the way of Doge. February 21st, an investigation into Robinhood, the Coinbase stuff, gets dropped. This firm, Robinhood, donated $2 million to Trump's inauguration fund. Within 30 days, investigation dropped. Throughout February 2025, we witnessed the robber barons surrounding Trump come up with new ways to monetize their new positions at the White House. Kash Patel is a perfect example. The freaking nominee to head our FBI. It's so insane how he became rich. He became rich by scamming people. He is a bad person. The freaking nominee to head our FBI. He has no history, no experience in law enforcement. I cannot get over this one. The FBI is very maybe our most important independent bureau in the federal government. It's just, what? And while he's going through that process of being the nominee, he's selling merch on his site, everything from t-shirts to playing cards about he's the head of FBI. Like, February 26th, FAA considering giving a $2.4 billion contract to Musk's Starlink. However, this specific contract was already awarded to one of Musk's competitors, Verizon. Verizon, not a political supporter of Trump the way Elon is, they support him, not the way Elon does, was going to have their contract ripped away from them. Contract hasn't been canceled yet, but Trump's admin is relentlessly attacking Verizon in a clear attempt to undermine their contract. There are so many reports. The rest of it is it was a lot to write, so the rest is right here. The 27th, the very next day, Trump drops a lawsuit against Capital One. Why does that matter? Capital One donated $1 million to Trump's inauguration. You donate a big amount of money to Trump's inauguration and you can ask him for something, and we're not done. That same day, Secretary drops a lawsuit against Coinbase. You got the story now. Like, you get it over and over. This just keeps happening. They donated $1 million to Trump's inauguration fund. They're now told it's okay to, cheat customers because the regulators have been all taken away. So you'd be surprised the amount of people who are getting scam and fraud calls the day that it happened. And we'll have numbers in that, after like a couple more quarters of the year go by. It'll be insane. The DOJ then on February 28th announces that it will drop a complaint against SpaceX, Elon Musk's SpaceX, for labor discrimination. Elon Musk is, one of the big donors. He's got a get out of jail free card pretty much. And he gets it from the DOJ over and over again. We are now into March 1st. A report breaks this may be second to Coinbase, the most stunning act of corruption on March 1st. It breaks around the world that Trump is selling meetings at Mar-a-Lago. On at least one occasion, Trump charged guests $1 million to dine with him face-to-face, one-on-one at Mar-a-Lago. According to the same report, a business leader and business leaders can secure a one-on-one meeting with the president of the United States for a $5 million payment to Donald Trump. If you were a mayor of a medium-sized town and it was reported that you were selling meetings for like $200, you would be arrested. That no, like you would be arrested. That's not allowed here in this country. He's
It's
selling
fine
meetings for 5
when
million.
you're in charge, just not. It's not illegal if you're in charge, Christy.
Oh, he
What if
who
you're
saves the country commits no crime. Isn't that what he posted?
what if you're like the Jesus for Jews? Names?
Uh, uh, I don't know why my mind thought of Rambo Trump when you said that. Like, you've seen the pictures of Rambo Trump, right? They're ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of good
Yep.
ridiculous.
So, March 2nd, Trump launches crypto reserve fund. This is going to involve government taxpayer dollars purchasing and holding a variety of digital assets in a strategic reserve fund, a move that definitely inflates and protects Trump's investment portfolio. By now, you understand these guys heavily dependent on crypto. There's a lot of assets in crypto, and Trump is able to get millions daily on his coin, and no one can know any of it. Problem to me is like starts on day one. Most people have to, put their businesses and their assets in a blind trust to be president, to be governor. Some even do it to be mayor if they're wealthy, because they're supposed to, they take a vow to be for the people, not for yourself. Presidents, governors, mayors, everyone has divested in this country except for Trump. In a blind fund or trust, like I said, Trump does none of that. He's controlling his own assets. His family members are controlling their own assets while he makes policy that benefits himself and his family financially every day. On March 3rd, a curious thing, DOJ intervenes in an obscure but open and shut 2020 Colorado election case. In this case of Tina Peters, who tampered with voting machines on Trump's behalf, she was convicted by a jury of her peers, open and shut, because Peters is a MAGA loyalist. DOJ said it's going to step in, open that case back up, and review the case because there are concerns about how it was prosecuted. This is just President Trump, again, clearly shielding those that violated the law to help him from consequences. Same thing, different day, pretty much now. And this is still just March 3rd. The Trump inauguration funds, they get what everybody else is getting. They'll close ongoing cases if you need them to. Thousands of on March 4th, then Doge lays off thousands of employees. This is bad for a lot of reasons, you guys, but it certainly helps Trump's Mar-a-Lago friends because the IRS now cannot enforce the law against the big, giant tax cheats. They need money and teams to go after these billionaires with teams of lawyers to get the money. And it could not have it could have had it those personnel on the books at Mar-a-Lago. I'm sorry, there are not just chattering, but those people they were celebrating this because by firing them, they're safe. Now to get that money that they have to do their job. They're going to go after the person that, got $500 extra and didn't tell nobody about it. That's insane. It just is. And then we have on March 4th, same day, word breaks that the Commerce Department is considering changes to this very specific rural broadband program for internet. And who's eligible? Why? Well, because Elon Musk wants to dominate that program. Under the program's original rules, Starlink was capped at 4.1 billion from the government as a subsidy for something that's already there. He just opens it up to people. This curious change will allow Elon Musk company Starlink to receive between 10 billion and 20 billion more from the rural broadband program, from 4.1 to 10 to 20 billion. But 6 days later, the CFPB, which is basically shut down but exists in name only, it drops a lawsuit against the Bank of America and JP Morgan. Bank of America donated $500,000 to Trump's inauguration fund. And on March 11th, a day later, Trump and Musk hold this now very well known advertisement for the Tesla on the White House lawn. That one just, it's pretty simple, I think. It's just pretty gross. If you're loyal to Trump and Musk and pay any kind of price for your loyalty to me, I will use my government resources to help you get out of trouble, even including free advertising. On March 19th, where 8 days later, the Geo Group, the private prison, donated $500,000 for Trump's inauguration fund. This is a private prison, like I said, a private prison company, and the NLRB drops the investigation to this company. It's disgusting at this point. It's just over and over. I don't know that there's anybody left that made a major donation to Trump's inauguration fund that hasn't gotten their favor from Donald Trump. Then on March 24th, the Treasury Department guts something called the Corporate Transparency Act. This is the regulation that requires businesses to reveal their true owners to the government. These new rules now make it easier for billionaires and millionaires to hide money, to avoid taxes, to engage in corruption, and less accountability for corporations. March 25th, a day later, the SEC reduces from $125 million fine to $50 million fine, $75 million reduction. That fine had been litigated. This company, Ripple, a blockchain company, internet company, it had been fined and it had already been litigated. It's done. And then Trump comes behind and reduces the fine from 125 to 50 million. These guys made a big investment in the inauguration. Most of these companies that got a get out of jail free card had investigations. Ripple wanted to make sure they got it right. They made a $5 million donation to Trump inaugural fund and got their bill reduced by $70 million. Trump, one of the campaign mega donors, this is a pardon. There were so many pardons. I mean, I can't even tell you how many pardons he's done already. One of the first, let's see, what did I write? It was funny. This is a pardon for one of his major campaign contributors. When asked about the pardon, Trump said, "They say the thing they did was wrong, but he was one of the first people who supported me for president." It just tells you everything you need to know. I mean, by April, Trump's issuing executive order on coal mining. The shares of the company owned by Joseph Kraft, who helped lead the Trump fundraising efforts, shoots up. On April 9th, this really curious timeline events plays out, which Trump posts on his social media that this is a great time to buy. And a lot of his followers complied. They make investments in the market, and there's reports and speculations that many in his inner circle might have done the same thing. And a couple of hours later, he posts that he is postponing his tariffs and the market shoots up. And potentially a lot of people who had access made money. On April 17th, Trump steers billions of tape dollars to something called the Golden Dome. Elon Musk's satellite company is a front runner for Trump's Golden Dome. This is an unproven defense system. It supposedly has a price tag of hundreds of billions of dollars, money that now looks as if it will be funneled directly to Elon. And now on April 23rd, Elon Musk, he could do anything he wants. He just blew the lid off. Well, I'm a horrible note taker here. Sorry. I don't need to read any of those notes. There was announcement of special VIP tour, White House. Trump made nearly $1 million in trading fees alone. And that trading fees, and the White House tour, they go into the same, that's what all those notes were about. There's this thing he offered. It was just, I guess, by word of mouth. He didn't post it anywhere. But he was making all these trading fees off people trading his coin. And by them doing it, they were entered in to get a tour of the White House by him. Like, they're, yeah, it's quite sickening, you know. I mean,
Fine.
it goes on, and I'm sure you guys are all caught up with the last, like, 2 weeks, because I did everything up until the last 2 weeks as far as the big things that hurt every single American citizen, if not people around the world. I didn't get into
And I
going
mean,
after
like,
Canada, nor going after Iceland, going at Mexico. I didn't even get into those because
there's so many things you had to skip.
I know. I just wanted like the policy things. I'm a policy junkie.
You
And
didn't
if
even
I
talk
can
about
see
the
them,
penguins.
I'm sorry.
You didn't even talk about the penguins.
I know those poor penguins. They didn't do anything.
Fucking do.
They didn't do anything. They're sweet, sweet babies.
I bet they can't even sleep at night. What the?
Grossed
Oh,
out.
we can't buy anything anywhere.
Oh, yeah. I have a lot of information in my head. There's more policies. I mean, there were some days that 80 executive orders were signed. You
Yeah.
know, I I had to stick to the ones that hurt the most of us. There were a lot that didn't necessarily hurt a lot of us. They just benefited the upper 0.1% and excluded everyone else. But if you're part of the 0.1%, everyone else is already excluded. So I just had to go pick your battles. I know this is important and it sucks and it's corruption, but it is not that important with you when you have 100 days like this. In our country, in the United States of America, it is a really big thing that is celebrated all across the nation the first 100 days of any president. There are magazines that, like, Time Magazine does the first 100 days. The whole magazine is, you know, designated for this, and there are TV shows and 60 Minutes and the things that they're trying to accomplish. And it's always been a very positive thing, even if you didn't like the president. And this is different. Naked penguins. Whatever. See, our Lord and Savior talks to us, so I don't know about you guys. It can't be mad, and there's only two of us. By delusion.
Yeah. So before I forget and we sign off, did you hear about what's going on in the world today?
On who today?
Yeah, in Israel today. Did you hear?
Oh, I think that's what I wanted to say, but yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, go for it.
No, I think that's what I forgot earlier, but I don't remember what it is. But I
Israel's
think
on
it had
fire.
to. No, it wasn't that.
Yeah, Israel has a bunch of wildfires going on right now. It's kind of
You know what
crazy.
does fire? Deserts.
So what? But
Think
doesn't catch
about
fire.
that. It's
Yeah.
a desert, yet it's on fire. Think about that.
Hmm.
Hmm.
There's great tweets. Uh
Trees that shouldn't be there. There's lots of plants that shouldn't
yeah,
be there. Yes.
yeah. Give me a sec. I don't wanna just spend time making for being on fire. But I do want to
Right.
share. Oh, I sent you a request there, Natcha.
Oh.
Awesome. Okay. Screen one. Share. Okay. Here we go. Breaking Independence Day events are being canceled across Israel due to massive wildfires.
Mm,
Check
hope
that
everybody.
out.
Yeah, that's yeah, scary.
Couple attention. Trump said that we will open the gates of hell for Palestine. Meanwhile, God himself opens up the gates of Israel. There's one
I
just a
knew that.
little.
I knew
This one,
that's where that was. Like as
yeah.
soon as like the first sentence, I was like, "Oh no!"
Oh no, here
This
it comes. Wildfires just like Israel too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Again, I don't want to get too distasteful. Now, I haven't confirmed this, but this is Haaretz. I saw this as well. Fire rages in Israel. Security source tells Haaretz. Settlers in or settlers set Palestinian agricultural land on fire in the West Bank.
Jesus Christ!
What if
Serious.
what if they
So
started and it just caught because they were setting their lands on fire? Will Israel even come out and admit it if that was the case? Here's where the fires are.
wow,
They're all over.
wow.
Saw something else say
And
that there's no fire in Palestine
I would
except for
be. There's a map that Israel has of all the forests that have been added since 48. And I would
yeah.
love to lay that map over that map you're showing me and see where those fires are because you bring European pine trees into the desert. Yeah.
Yeah, not good for days like this. So there's a lot of prayers for Israel, and there's a lot of fuck Israel all over Twitter right now. I guess there's been some rain. I don't know if the rain completely put the fires out. I did see somewhere else. I think we're getting close to it
All
right
those
here.
poor animals that live in there.
Use in Cyprus.
Ow! Really? Greece and Cyprus decline Israel's request for firefighting aid amid raging wildfire. You can't run around punching everyone in the face, and then when you get punched, ask for someone to help you.
Yep.
That's how
So
that works.
this is why
Story
my
called.
attention was a little split. And then I I saw two or three things talk about a sandstorm.
Oh wow.
Just insane.
Yes. The land said, "Get out."
Yeah, basically. And I saw somewhere down here, I don't need to look for that too, um, that India was on fire as well. And someone was
Yes,
like,
yes, yes.
is there is it a
And
coincidence Israel
they're
and
and
India
have
are
fires. Oh,
yeah.
the world
So
is on right now, figuratively and literally, and more
yeah,
metaphor. Yeah.
I don't want to be
Great.
like, oh great, they're on fire. Hell yeah, I hope they all burn because of what they've done. And I also don't want to be pray for Israel. So I'm just gonna leave it with it's on fire.
Right. Facts. It's on fire. You've heard it
Yeah.
here, guys. Now back to the station.
Yeah. Israel's on fire right now, and some people are digging it and some people are not digging it. And we're really unbiased media here. I have no opinion on
Same.
said. Yeah.
No,
Roast
really, all
fish.
those animals makes my heart break. There's kids there. It doesn't matter who their parents are. You know. So fires
Indeed.
anywhere are devastating. And the animals didn't do nothing. They didn't do anything. And all the animals that barely had anywhere else to live because all their desert was gone and that's their ecosystem. I feel real bad for them. So, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but you know, is it though?
Eco.
Because we're a bunch of animals, and sometimes we act as bad as the other ones.
Yeah, if you guys like that topic I just spoke of on YouTube, there is a documentary, there's a few of them called Israel and Ecocide, and it's pretty damning. But you
Yeah,
know, I live in America, so I can't really say anything. So our country doesn't just do it here, we do it all over the world.
you can
So
say something since you're like the biggest tree hugger that I've ever met.
I love trees. I would marry one.
I know. I
I
was
would,
about to say, she humps them too. I've seen it.
I would marry a weeping willow like yesterday. They're so beautiful. They're just so pretty.
All right. We're gonna
Oh,
try to come back next week and do this again. We're gonna
yes,
try
yes,
to limit these closer to an hour, best we can. Uh, do half and half.
yes.
Any idea what we're gonna try to cover next week?
I mean, if the news stays like this, which I have no doubt that it won't, that it won't, like it's going to, you know. Um, I do have the Facebook papers, but it is a longer story. So that's not going anywhere or changing anything. It's not, you know, anything that, oh, we need to talk about this right now. So I'll have
Yeah.
it. I'll add to it as when Whitney Webb, a really good journalist, gets done with her latest. She's really good at not just saying these are what the receipts are, but like then showing them, attaching them. So there's no doubt. And I really like that. So yeah.
Cool. And
Also, Whitney
hold
Webb is another story right now. It's like a 3 or 4 part. The first part is out, and it's how Diddy and Epstein are connected. Listen, it is insane. The CIA, Mossad, it is huge,
yeah,
huge.
pull it
Russell
off.
Simmons, Russell Simmons from Def Poetry Jam on HBO. Russell Simmons, who did comedy, like so many things in the 90s. There's so many big names that just break my heart because I looked up to these people and they're manipulative sexual assaultists. I don't like serial assaulters. Yeah, the story is insane. I can't cover it. We don't have a show long enough. Like even when she does interviews, her interviews are about 2 hours long because people are like, and then, because there's so much. Whitney Webb, journalist Whitney Webb. She has
Yeah.
been on with Katie Halper from the Useful Idiots to talk about it. She's been making the rounds right now because part one dropped last week and people are like
I love
with their
Katie Hill.
jaw floor. Whitney Webb. She is an American journalist who moved the fuck out of America. She's in Costa Rica and she prefers to cover American politics from there. So I mean I get it. Yeah, and she's a real leftist. She has a few beliefs that I don't believe. Like I'm cool. We don't need to talk about those. But also, I'm sure she's not an atheist like me. You know, so it's okay to be different. She's This story though is pretty badass, and it's a nice little break from all the politics. So
I don't like taking breaks from politics. I like to stay in the terribleness, not just picking on
he's killing me.
you.
He's killing me. Yes, yes, yes. And then just some of the bigger names, if hip hop kids like me, if you grew up to Def Poetry Jam and like the open mic nights for Def Poetry and then the comedy jams by Russell Simmons, like to know that he was working with people like Epstein and he showed other people how to videotape everything, get everybody drugged, take advantage, like it just makes me sick. So look into
Yes.
Whitney Webb, that stuff, and I love you guys. Happy home day. I gotta walk my puppy. and then go to bed.
Stay
Stay
human.
humanist for Godless sakes. Mwah.